Hey guys, welcome to the garden. I'm Elias Castillo with EMC Outdoors, and today is a very hot June day. It's June 23rd today, and I think the temperature is reading 89 degrees, something like that. And with the heat index, it's feeling like 90, 94, something like that. So it's kind of hot. So there's not a ton that I can do in the garden today other than stay away from the sun. I have a nice little shade here that with the grapevine. I've made a little trellis, and you can see in here I have quite a little bit of shade, which is very much appreciated. I go, I weed for a little bit, and then I come into the shade and take a break. It's a little hot, so gardening in this kind of weather is quite intense, and I come after work, so I guess I'm gonna have to start coming to the garden a little bit sooner and a little bit earlier during the day so the sun is not so hot. Today I want to show you a couple of things. I want to show you how to prune your tomatoes, and I want to show you the progress on some of the plants that I planted probably 3 weeks ago. So they are getting a little bit bigger, and I want to show you guys those plants. Sort of an update video plus pruning tomatoes. So let's go to the tomatoes and show you what they're doing. So these tomatoes here, I started indoors in the middle of April, I think, and I have them here now. And you can see this guy here has a ton of suckers. And what you want to do is you want to take out these suckers. A sucker is a plant, it's a branch off of the main stem. So you'll see them in between here. So you want to start taking these guys off. You see this guy here? I'm going to take these guys off, and you can just snap it off like that very easily. And there's another one up here, so you want to snap that one off as well. Now the reason you want to do this is because you want to concentrate the plant growth to one stem or two major stems, and then you want to cut off those suckers. Now you're going to say, but I'm wasting the plant. No, you're not. You're actually improving your success and your yield by removing some of those extra stems. What you can do with these stems is that you can clone your plant. So what you want to do is take those suckers that you're cutting off, like this guy. You want to take that and you want to plant it in the ground where you want a second tomato plant. And 50% of the time it will take off, and 50% of the time it will die. So it's up to you if you want to do it or not. I mean, it doesn't hurt to just put it in the ground next to your other tomato plants where you see another space, another opening for your tomato, and that way you can get extra tomatoes out of this one that you just cut. And you want to cut them when they're young, because once the plant gets pretty big, you don't want to take it off, because sometimes they already have flowers. So if it already has flowers on it, it's up to you on whether or not you want to cut it. It doesn't affect the plant if you cut the one with the flowers, but you won't get that tomato. So it's up to you what you want to do. So I'm going to show you what to do with this guy. So over here, I've already dug a hole for this guy, and I'm going to put it in the ground as deep as possible, and then just put the soil around it, just like that. And more than likely this will take. I already did it with this guy over here, and it's really hot today, but I think it's going to work. I've done it in previous years and it works pretty well, so I'm doing it again, because why not? I had planted some in this area anyways. They didn't survive, so I'm replanting it with some of the suckers, and it will take off. I'll show you guys again maybe in a couple weeks once they have already started to root, and you will see that they put out new leaves and they do pretty well. So try it out and comment below and tell me if it has worked for you in the past. Now I want to show you some of the other plants that we have planted, and I have shown you in previous videos, and I'm going to show you the progress on those. We are where I planted the yard-long beans right here, and look at them. They have basically grown up pretty good. They're about 9 inches, 10 inches tall, and the whole row is doing pretty well. You can see them here. Some of them are not growing as fast as others, but you can totally see they're taking off. They're putting out new leaves here, and they should start producing flowers maybe in about 2 weeks. So I'm going to be using this trellis here to guide them up, and I even created this second trellis here where I'm going to be throwing them over. So it's going to create a nice little trellis of hanging beans, and it's going to be a nice place for me to hang out when it's super sunny. So they're looking good. This year has been kind of slow for the beans. Usually I already have beans by this time of year, but we had that late frost. What was it, like June 10th? And we typically, sorry, May 10th we had a frost, and typically our last frost is the beginning of, we're probably 10 days behind schedule here, so you know. Okay, so I want to show you guys the cucumbers that I planted. So I had to do a couple plantings of these because the slugs were eating them. If you can recall, I've been having a lot of problems with slugs this year. I think it's because of all the wood chips that I gather around, and it was very wet during the spring, so they were wreaking havoc on my plants. But I got this product, I think it's called Slug Go or something like that. I'll put it in the description so you guys can order it if you guys want. It's an Amazon affiliate link, so I'll get a couple cents if you purchase it from me. But man, I put it in once and they haven't been bothering me again, so I definitely recommend that product if you guys are having trouble. So these are my cucumbers. They are doing pretty nicely, and you can see I've put in a trellis here as well. I hope that they can grow on here and give me a couple at least. I always have problems with the ring or stem cutting worm, so I read that the pellets that I use for the slugs also work for the cutting worms, so I'll be excited to see if that works for me this year. I've never been able to have a huge amount of cucumbers, but this year I'm hopeful because I have that on there. So yeah, those are the cucumbers, and I'm going to show you, these are the tomatoes that I planted, that I bought from a local nursery, and these are doing pretty well. I can see some suckers on these guys, so I'm definitely going to start pruning those suckers, because you don't want those suckers. Obviously they take energy away from your plant, so make sure you do take those suckers off, okay? And I want to show you the peppers as well. The peppers are doing pretty well over here. They're getting a little shaded by the asparagus, but I think they'll be fine because there's a couple over here that are doing okay. So these will take a little bit more, probably another month or so before I can see some peppers out of it. I can see some flowers on this guy are starting to develop, so that's nice. And these are just ancho peppers and Anaheim peppers. So those are green peppers that I love throwing in my stir fries and whatnot. This is one of the plants that I'm really excited about this year. This is called a chayote or huisquil if you're from El Salvador. This is more, apparently is related to squash, and it's pretty neat. It tastes like a squash. It's full of water content like a squash, and that's the main reason why I built this trellis. So this particular plant will share the trellis with the beans, and I hope to get a few this year. One of my garden neighbors is doing it was doing it last year, and I asked her to get me one of the plants if she could. And what she did was she went to the Korean grocery store and bought one of the chayotes, and then that's the one that sprouted and we put in the ground, and it's actually growing pretty well. So I'm excited about that one this year. This is the novelty that I'm doing this year. Show you my sunflowers. This is my sunflower bed here, and it's humongous. Every year I grow about 20 or so plants, and they're all volunteer plants. So what happens is they go to flower, they seed, and they self-seed for next year, and I pick a few and I leave them, and I don't I pluck a few of them off of the ground because I don't want a ton of them, obviously. But I love sunflowers just for the looks. I mean, they're beautiful. So you can see it's looking pretty good. Plus they provide a little bit of shade for the other plants that are not so heat tolerant. So yeah, make sure you plant a few sunflowers. All right guys, this is a short video today. Please give it a thumbs up and make sure that you subscribe. Like I said before, it is a hot day out here today, and I am enjoying the weather underneath these grapes here. You can see here my little grapes are starting to form very nicely, and we'll be ready to pick some grapes in late August probably. So stay tuned and stay safe and stay cool out there. Until next time.